And welcome into a very special episode on BCP Plus ahead of Full Gear here in New Jersey. AEW Full Gear. We have our all elite stellar panel. Please welcome back to the show. This is why we're doing this. We are not worthy. I know he hates it when we say this. He is the man, the myth, the legend. You know him from the Mr. Warren Hayes show, the Mr. Warren Hayes Wrestling Podcast. Our good friend, Mr. Warren Hayes. Welcome back, my friend.
It's a pleasure to be back. It's great to be back. It's been way too long. Multiple reasons why. It's not suddenly because we started beefing or anything.
No heat.
We haven't been beefing, right? Unless I'm just not aware.
No heat, brother.
Okay. Just Beef Wellington. Little Canadian reference for you.
There you go. No, it's been a busy few. Lots of stuff happening, but it's great to be back. And again, being invited to talk about AEW. You guys know me too well. You don't invite me for the other guys. There's no point.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but I love listening to your podcast, man. Always when I'm driving, man, it's one of the first ones I go to, man. I love your analysis, man. So thank you for coming back. It's always a pleasure having you here, man. We'll have some fun. All right.
Thank you for having me, man.
Dude, anytime, brother. And guys, please welcome back to the show our mentor, our hashtag Dad Instincts, lay editor-in-chief of the popbreak.com, a BCP OG, Mr. Bill Bodkin. We're not worthy. What's up, Bill? Welcome back.
Guys, I'm just here for one reason. It's to bring the boom.
We're off to a terrible start.
Yeah, we'll see you. Thank you, guys. Good night. It's good to see you, Bill. How you feeling?
Yeah, Warren, like you, besides our shared love of all things eyewear and gray hair, I do have to say I'm not often brought on to talk about the other guys except for the big four. And I can make a lot of Rob's people mad. So I understand why he doesn't bring me on. Rob's a bastion of positivity. I really have to say. He really is. He's one of the most. Let's put Rob over for a second here, guys. He puts the B in the BCP. And what's the B stand for? It stands for the best. Because Rob, truly one of the best guys out there. I'm so proud to be part of this team. And now that's the only nice thing I'm going to say about you, Rob.
That's fair. I'll take it, man. And now that I'm super awkward, we can get to our
first I'll just host the rest of the show.
It's man.
It kicks into just like it's like autopilot. I'm like, all right, guys, here we are. We're talking AEW.
Hey, man, I'm here for it. And it's an interesting card for sure. A lot of matches again here in New Jersey, guys. A big wrestling weekend, GCW. A lot of indie shows running. So check that out. I think the ticket prices for Full Gear are actually pretty solid right now. So go check it out if you guys are in New Jersey or the tri-state area. Let's start with this one, guys. Let's go to Roddy Strong versus MJF. I just think this whole thing was very interesting. You know, Adam Cole obviously heavily involved, but a little bit of that role reversal. You know, you had the heel Adam Cole, the whole devil thing. Now Adam comes back from the injury. More of the face. Now we have MJF in his, I don't want to say final form, but his best form in being one of the best heels in professional wrestling. Connecting the dots, again, it's a little tricky for me because now we have Roddy, who I believe the faction is heel still. The Undisputed Kingdom is not heel anymore, so he's a little bit more facious.
They're very facious.
But there's probably going to be some funny business here. It's all very interesting to me. Got to shout out Alex Ryman, who was begging MJF for money. Our Pro Wrestling Magic Heavyweight Champions. Got to shout him out. Little pop here at the BCP compound. So he's shouting out our indie friends. Warren, I'm going to throw it to you just because I want to hear you talk, man. What do you think about this whole angle, Adam Cole's involvement, and who do you think's winning this one?
I think the easy part is to say that MJF is going to win. I think, especially after tonight's Dynamite, I think it's been clearly established that MJF wants to outright hurt Roderick Strong, and the idea is that he's doing this to get back at Adam Cole. With the stories that they're telling with Kyle O'Reilly being around, Kyle O'Reilly saying, Adam, you're a nice guy, but and that's the problem. Basically, MJF is, he's much more of a slime ball than you are. He's evil. You were never as evil as him. You'll never be as evil as him. And that's a good thing. And you sort of looked at, Adam Cole was like, yeah, maybe, yeah, that sort of struck him the wrong way. I don't think that turned out to be a compliment for Cole. I'm going to be honest. Like, I haven't been enthralled by Adam Cole's return overall. I haven't thought it's been particularly good. I don't think he had one good match out of his, the three that he did, and was with Konosuke Takeshita. But, Konosuke Takeshita, if he can't have a good match with Konosuke Takeshita in 2024, he could drag me to a 3.5 out of 5 match, kind of thing. So, I'm sorry to say, I'm not super into this. I think it's been a little heavy-handed. It's been a little too tedious. I'll give credit where credit is due. Bold of them to have had Adam Cole lose a match and throw away the stip that everyone was expecting, that it was going to be a 3-way, and bold of them to do that. But I actually would have liked him to come out tonight and be like upset, downtrodden. I like it when wrestlers get upset at the results instead of always having to be smug or smarmy, or it's like, it doesn't matter. Well, if it doesn't matter, if it doesn't matter to you, it ain't going to matter to me, kind of thing. So, he comes out and things is kind of like business as usual, but no, brother, it's like, you should be upset that this is not happening. You want to get your hands on MJF and you screwed up. I would have kind of liked him to sort of hit rock bottom and then have to build himself back up, maybe win some matches, have him break down mentally in front of our eyes, kind of thing, only to but I don't know. I don't think it, to me right now, it's not super interesting, and they didn't sell me on the match tonight, which is weird because I love MJF as well. Like I'm an MJF guy. A lot of people have issues with him. I don't. I think he's tremendous. I think he's an extremely well-rounded pro wrestler. I don't know. It's not doing it for me.
He's super entertaining. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. It feels like something's missing for sure. Great assessment as always, Warren. Real quick in the chat, got to welcome in Kelvin, the No Gimmicks podcast, one of our guys on BCP Plus. Love Kelvin. Kelvin, I think I can start bringing some of these comments on screen. So, man, I want to hear some of your theories. You always bring some great stuff. Real quick, Taylor Reed in the chat. Let's bring it on.
Oh, look at that! Look at the 22nd century stuff going on in this BCP chat now. Look at this.
I've been doing this, right?
Are we debuting this? Wow. Okay.
You guys are the guinea pigs, like me and my first marriage.
Jeez, I should have put some
AEW needs to do something.
I was at front row for that one. That's a right there. Holy shit.
I digress. AEW needs to do something spectacular at Full Gear because it feels like it's in a weird lull.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things, I kind of fell off for a bit. I would find myself kind of throwing it on and falling off. And I, like I always say, like when it started, I always remember, like I would sit down and order food and make a night of it. And I don't know what it is.
I think 2 years to convince you to watch it, but okay.
No.
Forget that part.
I think
exposed.
Well, as always, I think we even talked about it last time, Bill. Like MJF being away, some of these injuries. So I feel like it's starting to fire up. I was getting pretty excited about this Full Gear pay-per-view past couple weeks. It's slowing down a little bit. It just feels like it's missing something. There's a little bit of a disconnect, but Bill, what do you think about, I guess, Taylor's comment and also this match?
Well, what they're missing is 90% of their star power. Like they have since the last pay-per-view, Swerve has been on 2 shows. MJF has been remote. He has not been in the arena.
Yes.
You're going with this Moxley angle that is still germinating. I'm going to say you've taken the Elite off TV. Okada's been gone because his wife had a second child. You don't have Kenny Omega. FTR doesn't show up unless they're on Saturdays. They are collision people, and for the most part, and you don't have people like Eddie Kingston or Adam Copeland. So yeah, right now you're running a mid-card show. You also had Will Ospreay off for almost a month too. So yeah, that's a lot of star power you haven't had. But I think it's given some time to people who are what they need to do. They need to start investing in younger people, and sometimes you got to take your stars away in order to give those people some shine. And I think they've done that. I think, but what's going to happen is now that it's Continental Classic season, a lot of those names are going to come back. MJF will be back. I mean, he was filming stuff. This is what he's going to do. Also, I don't think it's a bad thing to do what they used to do with him, like take him off TV for a while, make it special that MJF is appearing live. He's contractually obligated to be here. So he's going to be here. What I think is going to happen in this match. So I hope this match goes on first or second, because I know MJF is a great main event wrestler, but he is an excellent opening guy. Because go back to his match from a few years ago with Darby Allin. Go to his Forbidden Door match. I was there with Hechicero. It was really good. Him and Roddy Strong are to tear the shit out of each other, and it's going to be a great match. What's going to happen is, to your point, Warren, where I think the soul of Adam Cole is going to, I couldn't think of a third word to rhyme there. The soul of Adam Cole is going to burn and be destroyed is when young Kyle O'Reilly, once again, the reason he came out is because Kyle O'Reilly has gotten stale. He has been the aw shucks buddy, the Mark Briscoe, you're so funny guy in the conglomeration. And I think he's going to knock the shit out of Adam Cole, who's going to try and help MJF. I was thinking, I'm like, could Wardlow come back and do something here? That'd be interesting. But I'm like, that's a little too convoluted. You go with the path of least resistance. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole always deliver on their matches, and you want Adam Cole to get fired up. We want to see him get pissed. You want to see him show that fire. Have his old rival turn his back on him once again. They're like Sting and Flair. They're always going to turn against each other, and we're always in for a treat. So MJF is definitely winning this match. So.
Very well said, Bill. Guys, please welcome, tagging in with the hot tag from a wrestling gal. You know her from WrestleZone, doing a lot of great interviews over on WrestleZone, by the way. Our good friend, Miss Ella J. Ella, welcome in. How are you?
Hello. I'm a dumbass and clicked a link you sent last year by accident and was like, why is this not loading? Then I realized we're not using that anymore. I'm so happy to be here. It's been a hot minute, Warren. It's been way too damn long.
It has been quite a long time. Indeed. It has been. It's good to see you, Ella.
You too. And obviously Bill just did a thing with Bill over on the Pop Break with Kurt Angle. Thank you so much. Go check that out. I'm so happy to be back here too on the Bob Culture Pod.
Yeah, so happy to have you back, Ella. Real quick, I'm going to go to the chat, and then, Ella, I want to throw it to you. We're talking MJF and Roddy. Kristen Ashley in the chat, what up, saying hi, friends, and Warren. I think she means that in a positive way.
You could go either way,
Yeah.
Before coming on, we were arguing. You know the Tootsie Pop commercial. You know the one with the owl, right? Yeah. Okay. We were arguing before we came in. That's why I came in a little late, by the way. We were arguing because she was telling me that the owl, the 1, 2, 3, and she said that the owl would bite before saying 3, would bite down on the lollipop before saying, but it's not. He would bite. He would say 1, 2, 3, then bite, then give the kid the stick. And I pulled it up on YouTube to prove it, and I was absolutely right. And I even got the long version with the fox with the sunglasses who sounds like some sleazeball pimp. It's tremendous.
Well, first off, you are wrong on one thing. He goes,
a 1, a 2,
a 3.
No, he says 3. But
he says it with panache.
You gotta add the 1,
okay.
2. Yeah.
Yes, I wasn't acting. Warren. I wasn't acting. I was trying to get the point across. Right there.
Warren, you know how a good story, you got to add that panache. You got to add that pizzazz. A little bit of sizzle to that steak, baby. Come on.
I don't. That's why I don't know how to tell stories. That's why no one ever listens to me.
Oh, stop. Wait, I thought it was the 2, like on the 2.5. That's when he took the bite.
No,
and then
it goes 1, 2.
Someone changed the time. I'm telling you, someone changed the
3.
timeline. This is not what I remember. This is.
No. And the proof is there. It's on YouTube. You can pull it up.
All right. I trust you. But that is very interesting, and I'm 100% going to watch that as soon as we're done with this. Real quick in the chat, Kelvin, seeing this and knowing what they did in Arlington makes me patient. I think it will be a good period coming out of Full Gear. Yeah, he was saying, I'm sorry, what you're seeing now was the Arlington project. He was covering AEW down in Arlington in Texas. They tested a lot of this stuff. and starting to iron it out. Okay, great assessment as always, Kelvin, and great job down there in Texas. Ella, what do you think about this matchup? We were kind of talking about Adam Cole's involvement, kind of the misdirect that it would be a triple threat, the role reversals in face and heel from MJF and Adam Cole, and how this is all going to go down. Your thoughts on this, Ella?
I think it was Bill who was saying too that MJF's done openers before. I think he opened Forbidden Door too.
He did.
That was against Hechicero, I think it was. He's just coming back. I don't think he's going to lose. I think he's going to beat Roderick Strong, beat him down after the match, and then Adam Cole is going to go make the save, and that sets up Adam versus MJF for World's End. Seems pretty open and shut for me, but there is that Kyle O'Reilly factor. I thought tonight's promo was a little weird between O'Reilly and Cole. It felt a little off. It's probably intended and like mysterious, but O'Reilly could play a factor. But I think MJF should go over here to set up MJF and Cole for World's End.
Yeah, great assessment as always, Ella. That's why you're here. It's all very interesting. The O'Reilly promo struck me kind of odd as well. I'm never a fan of Roddy promos, especially like when the Undisputed Era was feuding back in NXT. But he seems to have found like some sort of comical way in his promos here, where he's almost poking fun at himself, the whole Adam thing and the Maxwell and all that kind of stuff. So that's never my favorite. I'm just hoping all these moving parts come together. Let's move on to not necessarily match, but I find this interesting that Mariah May is not defending the AEW Women's World Championship here, instead having a totally not reading this, championship celebration. Bill, let's throw it to you. What do you think about this? Is this setting up for some sort of debut, a match perhaps? What's going on here?
Well, first off, I don't know, because my internet connection was a little wonky. I wanted to put over, if you didn't, Ella's great interview on the Pop Break, made her debut interviewing Kurt Angle. Fantastic read, fantastic video. Go check that out. So happy to have you a part of this. Thanks to Kimmy for making this happen. So I was really stoked about that. What do I think about this? So many people are mad. Well, first off, I have to say, go watch the Mariah May, Anna Jay, the third match in their trilogy. The street fight was really good. It was really, really good. And to me, there's no reason it shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view, because it's just they went out and killed it. Anna Jay just put her over. Her work coming back from Japan has been phenomenal. I think Mariah May has been a good champ so far. I don't know if the stories have already been there, but this is one of two things happening. We got this thing today that so many people fell for, that Toni Storm was retiring. She's like, chin in, tits in, don't ever watch for the shoe again. So come on, guys.
I'll see her next weekend at WrestleCade.
Yeah, so, I know. Someone said that to me, and I was like, I'm really looking forward to seeing her in Newark, because there's no way she's done. So one of two things happens here. We're going to get the return of Timeless Toni Storm. AEW has been doing that for the last few pay-per-views of, hey, we have a big star coming back. They're coming back at the pay-per-view. That, or if you listen to Mina Shirakawa's promo, she's like, I want Mariah. I want this. This is going to lead to the implosion of these two, and Mina is going to turn on Mariah, or vice versa. And these two are going to go at it, because people really do respond to Mina Shirakawa. She's a very fun act in AEW. She fits in AEW. Her and Mariah May, I feel like they've worked together so much. We haven't seen them wrestle each other yet, and I think that's going to be a really big thing for them. I think that's going to be a really big match. And if Toni Storm doesn't return at Full Gear, she'll return at World's End, because we'll go total radio silence, and then she comes back at World's End, because you have that Australia show and you tell me she's not going to be on it. She spent like a month down there promoting it already, so she's going to be back. That pop's going to be gigantic wherever it is. And but if she comes back in New Jersey, I'm just selfish because I'll be at that show. So yeah, I want that return to happen, because I think it'll be one of the biggest pops AEW's gotten in a long time, because Toni Storm, she was the MVP for AEW in 2024.
I think you're so right, Bill. Very well said. Kristen Ashley in the comments saying, I might know some little teaser there. Oh man, I wonder what's going on there. I'm very curious.
The teaser's name is Warren.
Yeah, right. Kelvin in the chat real quick. AEW has a star in Mariah May. She needs a match. Yeah, most certainly. And then I got a bunch of Warren pops in the see, Warren, you come back, man. They're going nuts in the chat, man. The people want Warren. Warren, what you got on this one, bro?
Sorry, I got sidetracked with the Mariah May. I was very much involved into is that what we were talking about?
Yep, Mariah May.
Yeah.
The fact that she's not on the show.
So there's like a champagne celebration, I guess, but there's not a match per se.
Are they doing that on the show? I'm sorry. I guess I must have missed that part.
Yeah, they're doing that.
Yeah, it was kind of a short promo thing. And it's not the 0 hour. I think they made it clear that it's on the show. So perhaps a surprise return or something. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I think at the very least something is going to happen where Mina is going to get conflicted, and that relationship is going to sort of tumble apart. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I think I think overall, like when it comes to Mariah, I think her title reign hasn't been tearing the house down. I think she's a good wrestler. I just think she's been suffering from a lot of bad booking decisions. And I don't think she's been nearly as hot as the Angle when she shooed Tony Storm. Like, it's been unfortunate, but I think balls were dropped along the way. So, in her case, I feel like she has to build things back up a little more if she's working with people that she has affinities with, that she's confident also in working with. Mina, Tony, I think that benefits her. I'm rooting for her because I think AEW does have a special talent on their hands that they can absolutely develop further. But it's a long, winding road, I would say.
Yeah, fair assessment as always, Warren. Ella, I saw you kind of nodding while Warren was speaking. What do you got on this one? And I posted your interview with Angle in the comments.
Thank you. Yeah, we know after Mariah May won, Tony Storm went away, went to Stardom, where Mina Shirakawa was, and obviously they teamed a little bit. They aligned there. Then when Mina came back, Mariah was like, "Where have you been?" And Mina's like, I don't know. She just kind of like brushed her off and changed the subject. There was a whole segment about that on social media. So Mina's been playing both sides and Mariah's been unaware because she keeps asking like, where have you been? What have you been doing? And Mina's just been like, meanwhile, she's playing both sides. So I do agree with Bill that if you're going to have Tony Storm return anywhere, it would be here. And also this is like the third attempt, I think, at having this championship celebration. I think, was it at All Out or Wrestle Dream when she came out on the pre-show and was like, they were preparing to do it, but then she's like, this city isn't good enough for this. We're not having it here. So this is either the second or third attempt where we're trying to get this championship celebration. So it has to happen here. And if we're going to actually finally have it, I think a real payoff would be bringing Tony Storm in. And then Tony Storm is like, why are you siding with Mariah? We just had something in Stardom. And Mariah's like, what? And kind of like you guys said, catching Mina in the middle where she's going to have to pick.
I have a question. Is Mariah May, she's from Australia too, right?
She's from the UK.
No,
because I was thinking if she was from Australia, then I think we're still, no matter what, going to get on that Australian show. You're going to get Tony and Mariah for the title, and get Tony the big Australian win, make her the Grand Slam champ.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep it moving here, guys. I got a lot of matches. Let's talk about the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Private Party defending against, in a fatal 4-way, the House of Black, the Acclaimed, and the Outrunners. Man, are they super fun. I'm actually really looking forward to this match. Sometimes these multi-man matches can get a little messy, can get a little dangerous at times, but man, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And there's a part of me in the back of my mind, like, and I hate to be this guy, and I especially with tag teams, I hate to know, someone going to turn on something, or is this the end of blah, blah, blah. But there's a rift, I feel, in the Acclaimed. I just feel a little bit,
God, please, yes, please.
Take it away, Warren. Go. I know you always talk about it on your show. Go. You're over it. You're over it.
I've been over the Acclaim for months,
Months?
years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at least a
I've
year.
been done with these guys for a long, long time. I was on the split the Acclaim up train way before they were passing out tickets for people to get on board. I mean, honestly, this act at this point is all it's doing is holding Anthony Bowens down. It's just as simple as that. I have always said that guy has tons of upside. He's charismatic. He's media trained. He's a guy who can go out there to do proper PR, and he does. Yeah. And you could elevate the guy. To me, it's a no-brainer. He's a perfect fit for the Hurt Syndicate. Like there's no two ways about it. Max Caster got the card, but Bowens stole it out of his bag while Max was out, looking at himself in the mirror while he was doing his raps or whatever. And then he called MVP. I'm convinced this is happening. It has to happen. I'm so incredibly done with the Acclaim.
But
who do you got winning this match?
No, Private Party. I mean, and look, I don't want to sound like a super bummer. Like I feel like since the start of the show, I've been like, I'm not feeling the show all that much, which is weird because usually I'm a little more excited about AEW pay-per-views. But Bill's assessment of right now we're stuck with the mid carders, and I say stuck, but not necessarily in a pejorative way. But we are using the mid carders right now because all the stars are elsewhere. Max is working remotely. It's like. So this is where we're at right now, and you kind of feel it. You kind of feel that it's not the same energy, it's not the same vibe, and a lot of the matches that are happening on this card, I'm kind of like I'm shrugging my shoulders at it. I'd say there's 2 matches that have me really excited on this show. The rest, I'm kind of like, sure, okay. Then, and the thing with 4-ways in my case, and I've been on the show a couple of times. This. I don't like multi-person matches for the titles. I don't like it. I think it's stupid. Build a contender. That's it. Just give me a 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 in this case, and that's it. So we're already crossing a lot of hurdles for me to get into at this point. And I'm not necessarily a big Private Party guy. I'm excited for them. I'm glad that the House of Black. Oh, they're fun. Brody King rules. The Outrunners are a great act, though. I hope they, I have a hot take if we want to get into that.
Please,
regarding the Outrunners. No, but I'll let everyone talk, and then maybe we'll drop the hot take. But once we get to that, but it's just like, but the thing is that these are all entertaining acts. They're all fun, and the match is going to be fun. And again, Warren Hayes is going to sit there and be like, aren't I a sourpuss? But as I enjoy the match, but the build is, I'm kind of like, I don't know. It's not doing it for me. And most of this card, honestly, is not doing it for me. So I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but
in the chat, I agree. Man, if I had a nickel for every time I saw this one, I agree, Warren. Yeah. Out of the 2, now he's saying Bowens has the capacity to be the bad guy. I would just say the guy, but Kelvin's saying the bad guy here. Private Party wins. I have Private Party as well winning this one. For all the reasons Warren shared it. And again, I hate being like, oh, it's early, they just won it, but it's early, they just won it. And also with Bowens, man, Wrestle Pro guy up here, Jersey guy. Man, I don't want to say the Acclaim's holding him back because he found so much success with that, but the 5-tool player, he's ready to break free. Dude's gonna join the MLB, first of all, doing all the baseball stuff right now. But man, I almost want to see it happen, for him to break free. As a heel, I don't know. I know Max was doing a lot of stuff in Wrestling Open where he's kind of getting a little political, getting a little bit more heelish, a little bit more cutting edge for a little while there. So I could see them, just in terms of time, going their separate ways. That's just me, but I think Private Party's going to win this one. And I just think here, and even though it's in Jersey, because they've had moments in Jersey, I don't want to say it's time, man, but it just feels like it's going to happen. Ella, what do you got?
I guess I'm on that train, not the Acclaimed train, but the Private Party train. It does feel a little bit too soon for them to lose. However, and I am going with Private Party retaining here. However, I could see House of Black winning if a returning Julia helps them win. especially because Brody spent that voice in the back of her head,
people with arrows.
From the top of the ramp, she's just taking fools out, just sniping them.
Brody's been the one saying it's time to come home. So like, why not come back on a pay-per-view? You know, they revealed her as the House of Black member. What was it, a Double or Nothing? It was at a pay-per-view. It was at a big pay-per-view event. So why not have her return at a big pay-per-view and help them win, and then seemingly have her go after Jamie Hayter, who I don't think she's faced before, but I'd still be here for it. So that's the only way I can see somebody else winning, is if Julie Hart comes back and helps House of Black. But I think overall it will be and should be Private Party.
Yeah. All right. We got Private Party all around. Bill, what do we got?
Man, here's what I want. Like, I'm going to go with Ella's thing about House of Black. I want more than anything in this world right now that you said that. I want the Outrunners and Jamie Hayter. I want that.
Yeah.
Her just getting so fucking annoyed by them at all times. But like, they kind of win her over because they always have her back. And she's the third big bicep coming in. It writes itself. It's just print money. What isn't print money to me, and I'm going to go to Warren's point, is I don't think Bowens is going to go heel, because I think everyone wants to cheer for him.
Yeah.
He's a natural babyface. Like, he is such a likable guy. Max Cat, because if you think of that situation, so he turns on Max, no one wants to cheer for Max Caster ever. And I know most people are like, just get rid of him. But like, that's not happening. I think they do break up. Max goes heel, and Anthony's going to be the baby face here. And I think Anthony Bowens as a baby face is there's a lot of money in that. And there's a lot of, would he be okay? So you're telling me, hey, Anthony Bowens and Shelton Benjamin are going to team up. Well, I guess my birthday came early. That's amazing. But I just think they're going to see him as a baby face and just keep him in that slot. And I think he'll be fine. I think stop putting Billy Gunn on TV. That's
that's a whole other thing. I think
listen, he's 60 plus years old. And let's face it, he should not have spent that one Dynamite kicking the shit out of Jay White. That was like one of the worst things I've seen in AEW. But I just think that I just see them going with Bowens as a babyface. But my heart, where my heart is going with my pick, is the youngest men alive. Because if you haven't seen the Outrunners, you haven't seen anything yet. And that's just a fact. But it's going to be Private Party. Private Party's going to win this, but I'm going to shred my vocal cords in Newark when the Outrunners come out, because that's my fucking team right there. They're just like a bunch of dudes from the 80s. Come on. I got to go for
from your era.
I mean, I was born in the 80s, but like, I wasn't like, lifting dumbbells and doing bench presses back then.
I was watching pro wrestling in the 80s. Excuse me, do you want my hot take on the
I was literally just gonna say, can we get your hot take?
Is it gonna make me cry?
Yeah. Don't push the Outrunners. That's my hot take. Okay. And not because they're not fun. That's exactly why. I think they're a great act.
Do you think?
Ruin them. Yeah. You overexpose.
They're going to become the Acclaim number 2, and it'll happen. That's my. Because they really are a lot of fun. They really are a lot of fun. But it's the kind of act that you can just have them hang around the mid card, the lower mid card, come out and do some great bits, and people will just have a gas. But the minute these guys start getting overexposed, it's done.
Yeah, no, I'm. That's why I think them with Jamie Hayter would end like a mid card feud with the House of Black. I think
she's got the retro vibes going on right now.
Sure.
So.
She is like right out of a Doctor Who episode. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point, Warren. Very, very well said. I know they're kind of rolling with Erica Lee on ROH, one of the indie talents, for a little bit great. Too. In the chat, if anyone needs to join the Hurt Syndicate, it's Ricochet. Okay, we'll get into that in a little bit.
No, sorry. Go ahead. No, it's fine. No.
I am here.
No. I am censoring myself.
Okay,
let's move on.
Okay. All right, then don't get me in trouble yet. It's still early.
That's right. Exactly. It's not my show.
No, okay. I'm glad to have you here, man. So whatever you got for us. Let's take it to Now this is interesting. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander. Forgive me if I get a little critical here, guys. Stat was one of my favorites, like here in the Northeast, WrestlePro. I love the whole alien thing. She was great with the kids and like the booping and the noses and all that. Really one of my favorites. And when she came into AEW, she was killing it. And I really liked it. And of course, she's evolved and the characters changed. She dethroned Jade Cargill, which is an amazing accomplishment. The music's changed a couple times, and I don't want to be like that person, but like I'm having trouble. She was one of my favorites, I guess, and I'm having trouble right now. Like, who is she? What is her mission statement? Why am I connecting to her? Besides, like, I liked her in the past. She was kind of super babyface, and she was kind of heel. Then she's like more of the babyface again. This feud's been kind of weird with like trying to hit people with cars. I think Camille ends up looking like real weak in a lot of it. I feel like I'm being way too critical. It's losing me a little bit. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I don't think Mercedes is going to lose the title here. I'm a little all over the place with this one. I just want to figure all of these answers out. Ella, help me out on this one. I'm a little lost.
For me, this is the second easiest match to predict on the card besides the AEW World Championship. Mercedes Moné is not losing this title anytime soon. I would be shocked if she didn't walk into Wrestle Dynasty, the New Japan crossover in January as champion, especially she's also New Japan Strong champion. I don't see her losing the title anytime before that. You know, maybe if you get her onto Revolution or Grand Slam, even because that's February, maybe then, but I don't see her losing it before the crossover with New Japan. So for that, I see her retaining here.
Okay, I got you. And any thoughts on just like, and I know I'm rambling over here. Any thoughts on like the story arc or anything?
No, I agree too. I get if Camille is going to lose to anybody, Statlander's a solid choice. It just felt like a little too soon. Like I feel like you want to make Camille look strong for a while. Like she's been here 4 months? 4 months-ish, they're already teasing dissension between Camille and Mercedes. It hasn't even been that long of a partnership. And I do believe, professionally, just personally, not personally, but professionally, Camille's a powerhouse, and I think she deserves to be booked stronger in this. And the booking has been weird, putting her in the doghouse and teasing this dissension. I don't know. It's been very weird. I think she can stand out on her own, definitely. But it seems a little bit too soon. But I think regardless, she's probably going to redeem herself at Full Gear, and maybe that leads to Mercedes' victory, or Mercedes does it on her own. But regardless, I think Mercedes, like I said, is walking out with both of her titles.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It almost reminds me, and again, it's just too fast, of like how MJF was with Wardlow, like how he, like they were cool, not MJF and Wardlow, but Mercedes and Camille were kind of cool at first, and now it's like she's kind of just like mistreating her. Like it reminds me of the Wardlow thing, but it's just happening so fast.
Yeah.
Bill, what's your read on this whole thing?
So I think this is going to be actually a very good match. I think this is going to be probably one of Mercedes' best matches because Chris Statlander, she's fucking awesome. She's just consistently just gets better every time I see her in every aspect of her game. Like if you watch the match with Shida tonight, that was a fantastic match.
I wanted more.
Oh yeah, I could have taken about 10 more minutes of that. It'd give me a best of 7, whatever. I haven't wrestled for 4 months. That's fine. Barbed wire, match. These are all good things, let's go. But the Camille stuff, I think they're just rehashing Wardlow and MJF again, which is fine. It's like the age-old bodyguard star trope. And I think Camille's going to go away for a while because she does have that movie coming out about is it about Mildred Burke? I believe
It's already out.
it's our. Well, I think So
Unless
I feel
there's
like
another one.
No. That's the one. It's that Jim Ross produced. Tony Storm's in it. Yeah. So I think they are going to try for some awards push with that. So she might be taken off. Especially this is the time of year to do that. You want to put your cast out there. You want them doing interviews. You want them doing press and media around the world, especially with distribution, and trying to get some awards buzz to get more views. And a movie gets nominated for something, more people are going to put eyes on it. So, and she's a very striking presence. She's very well spoken. So you're going to put her out there, and be like, hey, this is one of our stars. And of course, AEW is going to be like, of course, she's an AEW star. Here she goes. I wouldn't hate it if Statlander won. And it doesn't I'm not surprised that they turned Statlander face, because it's very easy. Everyone likes her, and people don't like Mercedes Moné. So sometimes that's just how I feel like that's an AEW thing. It's just like, well, she's going to challenge for this person. And well, that person's a heel, more of a heel than them. So, by de facto, you're babyface, and that's fine by me. I think Statlander was very effective as a heel, and I think you could go back to that if you need to. But this is going to be a hell of a match. I really think. And I think this is the one. I said this a while back about Adam Copeland. When he first came in, he had a match, and I was like, oh my God, this dude needs this match, because his run has just been like a fart in church, man. It's just not been good. And I feel like Mercedes needs this match. Like, her match, Willow Nightingale, was really good, and I give her, especially for someone who was on the shelf for a year. But I feel like it's been a soft middle part. I think the Stephanie Vacker match, I was there live. It was fine. It was fine. I didn't think it was I think it was a blowaway match. And I just feel like her stuff with Sheeta has been hit or miss. Like, she had one good match with Sheeta, and then it's okay. The next one. And I think this one's going to be a big one. She needs this match for her AEW run, and I think she'll be just fine after it.
That's fair, man. And I just want to be clear on this. Like, I'm never the person that's like, one person has to be heel and one person has to be face. Like, and I get that that's wrestling 101, and that's a huge part of it. But I feel like it's evolved a bit, and we can have things a little bit differently there. So I'm not saying like it always has to be a face or a heel. Like, I'm more interested in what their personal story is, or their motivations and things like that. So I don't want to be like super antiquated like that. It just lost me a little bit with this whole thing. Too many moving parts. I think I just want to be more invested in this. Before I throw it to Warren in the chat, Statlander will win this match due to Camille interference. Mercedes will interrupt Mariah's party and start their feud. Oh, wow. Just getting right to it. Warren, you disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. First of all, but when you said, Rob, when we started the segment, you like Chris Statlander, but you kind of feel like she's directionless right now, and that's normal. That's normal, because she was in this tremendous heel turn just a couple of months ago. Yeah, that was very good for her career, because I thought she was starting to tread water, and sometimes you just need the little. You just need the little switch. You just need the little alignment change. Kind of like by Anthony Bowens. You just need the little alignment change, and suddenly you freshen up the act, and it's all good. And it's been really. I thought the heel turn was tremendous. Then like that, they're like, no, we're done, just like that. No reason, no rhyme. It's like, no. Suddenly, Chris Statlander back being a babyface, and everyone's kind of like, what? Well, we were kind of. All right, we hated this chick just not that long ago.
I think they wanted someone reliable to get Mercedes back on track. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the path becomes obvious now. Yeah. Hindsight is 2020. Yeah. But it's to the detriment of her own path at this point, where I think that's one of the reasons why it's difficult to get invested in it. And I'm sounding like really like the old grumpy man who just came out of heart surgery, but but nonetheless, I really didn't like this build. I thought most of everything they did was dumb. Like, the car thing with Camille was dumb. Going through a drywall was dumb. Tonight, I don't even understand what happened. Camille got in the ring and started staring at, and she started.
That was weird.
I'm weird. Like, everything about this build was dumb. So we're going into this match, and I'm like, okay, well, yes, we have two very talented pro wrestlers. Hopefully, they'll pull something great, and I have confidence that they'll do something very, very good. But it's again, like it's another situation where I'm trying to get really hyped for this pay-per-view, and I'm kind of like, well, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. I think Mercedes is absolutely retaining this. If anything, this feud must continue, and I wouldn't worry about Camille. I think she's going to do something that is going to redeem her in the eyes of Mercedes, and we'll be back on track. She's going to do something tremendous for Mercedes during the match, and Mercedes, all will be forgiven. We'll be back on track. I'm pretty sure.
All right, good stuff, Warren.
Can I ask Rob? I'm gonna derail your podcast for a second. Is it me, or it's just because I've had so much going on in life? I feel like the AEW women's roster, that bench got real short real quick.
I would agree.
Do I feel like it's like there's an extreme lack of?
You're talking like just Dynamite or Collision? And
I'm talking AEW.
Yeah.
I feel like there was an extreme lack of depth in regards to, like, I felt like they were over the summer. They were doing pretty good. Like, things, we had a Willow feud, we had all this stuff going on, and now I feel like it's just like, I don't know if it's just injuries or what. It just feels like there is a very big lack of options for stars in that division to wrestle.
I'd love to see Frost and Deanna and Thunder on Dynamite a little bit more, just a little bit more on the main show. But I can kind of agree with that. You guys could jump in.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you lost, like, Riho got injured suddenly, Sky got injured, Julia's out, Thunder had a concussion, Soraya's away doing something personally. Harley's stepping up, Anna's stepping up, which is good at least. Penelope just came back. Yeah, we did lose a lot of people, whether it was personally or injury wise, especially to like the mid of that, and all of that. And obviously Tony went away story wise. Serena Deeb is so inconsistently booked. Go on, Warren. But yeah.
Yeah, and for some reason, Britt is inconsistently booked, but it goes to Bill's point from earlier. We're with the mid-carders now.
Yeah.
The stars are all gone, so it's affecting the women's division as well.
Willow's concussed, unfortunately. Yeah.
In Mexico. Yeah.
Great point, though, Bill. And thank you for bringing that up, man. Warren, I'm going to boomerang it back to you, man, because...
Wait. Boomerang it.
Oh my god!
Thank you guys.
Again, this is the things I do.
Oh man, we're not doing any material on a Wednesday.
That's in the past.
Let's go, Warren. I think this is one of the matches you're excited for. I'm going to take a calculated, an educated wish here, a calculated guess here. Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay. Is this one you're looking forward to?
Hot damn!
Let's go.
Now we're talking. Now we got something. Now we got some meat to chew on. All right. So Kyle Fletcher was a guy that back when he was, starting up with the Aussie Open stuff, everyone was like, okay, this kid's going to be has all the tools to be a star. It's funny because sometimes we'll say they're going to be a star, but ultimately I think what people mean is that they have the tools to be a star, because being a star then depends on the person with the tools, right? You can have the tools but never use them. But and I think I really do believe that when Tony Khan picked up Aussie Open for AEW, he picked up Kyle Fletcher. That's what I think he saw that. And then Tony went through his booking where he wants to push a guy. So before pushing the guy, he makes him lose a bunch, like matches. And then all of a sudden, boom, now it's time for the push. And this is where we're at right now. Fletcher's been fantastic. And I thought he cut, I think he's knocked it out of the park every single time he's been featured. The haircut promo was it had to be the promo of his career. And it turned out to be the promo of his career. It was tremendous. It was absolutely fantastic. And now and on top of this, like this, all the stars are aligned. He's wrestling Will Ospreay, a legitimate friend of his, and the guy who doesn't care if he's going to, a guy that Will Ospreay is like, yeah, I'll put everyone over. Sure, let's just put everyone over. It's fine. So they're going to have a match, which, in my opinion, the floor is match of the night, and and Kyle Fletcher's going to win, and he's going to look even more of a killer than he has been in the buildup to all of this. It's been tremendous, and we can have discussions and arguments over the decision overall of taking Will Ospreay off of television for like practically a month, right? We can absolutely argue that decision, because there's always this simmering concept beneath everything AEW does is like, well, you're not drawing many people to your shows and you're not putting on your top guys. You're keeping them at home. What are you doing, Tony Khan? But then again, he has a huge media deal. Maybe he doesn't care as much anymore. But nonetheless, it's like you're having trouble putting 3,000 people in a building and you're telling Will Ospreay to stay at home. I understand that there's good story reasons to do that. Now, like I said, that's not necessarily the point I want to make. The point I want to make is for the story, for Kyle Fletcher's story, Ospreay being at home, being away from TV, then coming back and just wanting his pound of flesh has been tremendous. It's so simple too. It's just a simple pro wrestling angle and it works so well. I am stoked for this match. I'm really, really excited for it.
I'm just going to go with everyone take a drink, copy and paste, man. Copy and paste. Warren, you said it perfectly. Dude shaved his head. Bill, what do you got on this?
You know who? So it's funny. I was watching these guys on the British Indies back in like 2017, 2018, and I was a big Mark Davis guy, and he was the guy in the UK scene where everyone's like, "Oh, Dunkzilla, he's the guy." Which I wish they'd bring that name back. It's such a good nickname. And he was the guy who was like, they're having him go up against Walter and going through to all the rest, and like going toe to toe. But they always would manage to mention that this little skinny guy, his tag team partner Kyle Fletcher, Hiroshi Tanahashi, said, "This is the star. He is the guy." And when Tanahashi, he knows a couple things about pro wrestling. So Tanahashi, once again, great hair, always right. So yeah, this is going to be a killer match, man. I saw Ospreay and Swerve live for Forbidden Door, and I couldn't believe how great that match was. I think this will top it. Fletcher definitely wins for sure.
Ella,
this is the match I'm the most unsure about. I just want to say, first of all, I was personally victimized by Kyle Fletcher shaving his head. I was very sad.
Imagine sky blue.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's worse, the haircut or the tattoos? But did you feel victimized because he looks like Randy Orton now?
No, not even close.
Don't open up.
That's what everyone says. That's what everyone online is like. It's Randy Orton.
No.
It's Randy Orton.
If
I
thought that,
Here
I
we
wouldn't
go.
be complaining about him shaving his head. I don't think he looks that at all.
He's more talented.
But I am. My head is like Ospreay just returned. I don't think he's lost back-to-back pay-per-views in a while. He's coming off a loss already here. I don't think he has yet to use back-to-back pay-per-views in AEW. So I'm like, he's just coming back. You want him to ride this wave of momentum. But my heart is like, it should be Kyle Fletcher because he's just coming off of this big turn. People are like, Mark Davis is going to turn on Will Ospreay and side with Kyle Fletcher. I think it should go that way. But in my mind, my head is like, Ospreay is Ospreay, and he's just coming back, and he doesn't lose often, especially not twice in a row at pay-per-views. So it's like this back and forth. But I think I said earlier in another show, I went with Ospreay, but I think I'm going to ultimately go with my heart because it should be Kyle Fletcher. And I think the story is there for Mark Davis to turn on him. And especially you don't want to make Fletcher look weak after just turning on Ospreay. He's trying to go out of Ospreay's shadow. But also, do you want to give him that right away? Do you want to have him burst out of Ospreay's shadow that fast? So that's where this struggle goes in, and I keep going back and forth. I said Ospreay 3 days ago. I guess I'm saying Fletcher today, but that might change. This is the match I'm the most unsure about.
Okay.
Give me Will Hobbs and Will Ospreay versus Aussie Open. And don't give me a time limit.
I think it should be Kyle Fletcher winning.
Yeah.
But it's like, is it too soon? Osprey is Osprey. It's like, I don't know.
All right. Well, very well said. First of all, very good points. And to what you were saying, I think maybe Fletcher will win, obviously, with some sort of interference.
Oh yeah,
No
way he's
so maybe that's
clean. No way.
Yeah. So maybe that's how they elongate it just a little bit more with more tag matches and stuff.
Yeah,
like
well, especially if Mark Davis turns. Yeah, this isn't going to be far from over.
Oh yeah. Oh, now I feel like it has to happen now. Let's go into the TNT Championship match: Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia. I don't got a lot on this, guys. Help me out, Bill. I'll throw it to you first.
Garcia, baby, he's gonna win. He signed that big contract. He's over. He was very, very over with that crowd when he lost to MJF, which I was very shocked that he lost to MJF. But I guess they didn't know if he was going to resign or whatever. Who knows? But like, I just think he's got to win. You have to start. This is why I think Kyle Fletcher also has to win. Will Ospreay is a made man. Everyone loves him. He's Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson now, and so they could lose. And it's still like we love you. You're still the greatest thing we've ever seen. But you got to give that moment to Kyle Fletcher. You have to give this moment to Daniel Garcia. I'm not comparing Jack Perry to Kenny Omega by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm saying, although I have to say Jack Perry has done a really good job of being Raven 2.0 and like trying a lot of different things. I think his wrestling has improved. I don't want him to be a babyface again. Just be a heel. That's fine. But you got to give it to Garcia. There's so much runway with Garcia we haven't even started to go down with yet. And I just think putting the belt on him, he'll be the open challenge guy. And that's what he needs. He needs to go out there and just let's go back to what the TNT title was made for, or what Orange Cassidy did with the international title. Let's just do bangers after bangers after bangers. Let's just go with it. Let Garcia have these matches. Give him the ball. Let him run with it. Let him, as the kids would say, let him cook. I'm sorry. This is what they cheer at my daughter's soccer games. This is what I hear. So just let him go with it. And if he flops, he flops. Then you put the belt on somebody else. I don't think he'll flop, though.
I think it's definitely Garcia's for all the reasons you said, Bill. With Jack Perry, I'm just, again, another one. Like, you're right. I'll give him credit for trying things. But, like, the people he was associated are gone. Like, the Elite, I feel a lot of his current character, it harkens back to the old CM Punk stuff, which, he made it, he's cooking, as you say, he made it work. Right. Again, he's just another one I'm not getting like a complete, like one way or another read on. And I think that's why I'm a little lost in this match, but I think for sure Garcia wins. Warren, help me out on this one.
I see this in an entirely different light. I think Jack Perry's going to retain.
Okay.
And people are going to have a meltdown, and they're going to say he should have signed with NXT to go hang out with the pretty girls. But
I remember that narrative. Yeah.
But we have Continental Classic season that's starting next Wednesday in a week, and the best story you could tell is Daniel Garcia's redemption run from last year's Continental Classic. He came into the C2. The Jericho Appreciation Society had been disbanded, right? And he was searching for his identity, right? You remember this little spat that he was on? It was like, am I a pro wrestler? I'm a sports entertainer. And he was directionless, which is why he sort of continued to hang out with Matt Menard, because they were sort of the cast-offs or whatever. And it's kind of been his story all along, right? And I feel they've touched on it again with the promo that they did. Well, the vignette that they did tonight, where Jack Perry is like, yeah, you have to go there. You got to go to the dark place. And Daniel Garcia is like, no, I'm not going to go there, So I think that's going to have that's going to come again into light. Like, his identity crisis is going to continue, and it's going to cost him the match. But, and mark my words here, okay? Mark my words.
I'm marking them right now.
If Daniel Garcia loses the TNT title this weekend, and he's in one of the two groups for the Continental Classic, he's winning the Continental Classic. That I'm willing to bet the farm on.
Wow.
I think
so. You have him go over Okada.
I absolutely have him go over Okada.
No. That's the right. If he's going to win it, he's going to have to. Yeah.
And this is because y'all were saying, right? We're all going to root for Danny. This is where you root for Danny, where he just maybe he starts off as C2 a little shaky, kind of like last year, right? And then at some point you get the Naito run, in the G1 where Naito he always starts off, he loses like half his matches, and then he has his big run at the end to secure his spot, kind of thing. He has the Naito run in the C2. And he ends up with Okada, and everyone's like rooting for him. Okada just blew through his entire block. It's like he's undefeated. It's so simple storytelling, but that's how you're going to make Daniel Garcia a star, not by giving him the TNT title, which arguably is the 4th title on the men's side right now. I would argue that it's the one that don't really, for those of you who can understand whatever I just said right there. And that's how you're going to make him a star. And Daniel Garcia, as we know him as a pro wrestler, he'll thrive in a sports-based environment like this with a sports-based story, which is the redemption run from last year. Look, I mean, this the kind of stuff that writes itself, and that will get the people excited, and we'll have good matches in the meantime too.
Really good.
Really good.
So I think Jack Perry retains.
Who do you have, Jack? Who eventually beats Jack Perry for that title?
Is CM Punk when he comes back to AEW.
Whoa!
Whoa! You want me to throw? I'll throw a brick through the fucking window. I'm so angry.
Ella, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, I don't know who beats him anyway. But go ahead, Ella.
Everybody's looking at this is Daniel Garcia as the focus here, when it should be the downfall of the Elite. We have I just want to say, I first don't know why they just all of a sudden backpedaled from the Elite storyline of taking over AEW. They freaking whatever to Tony Khan. They gave that man a broken neck, and then they just all of a sudden whatever. And so now you have the Death Riders doing that, and with people thinking the Elite are eventually going to come around and be the saviors for AEW. They could be. But regardless, we're now right now we already got step 1 of the downfall of the Elite, which was the Young Bucks losing the AEW Tag Team Championships. Then they went away. Step 2 is Jack Perry losing the TNT Championship to Daniel Garcia. Step 3, which would be Okada losing the Continental Championship at the pay-per-view called World's End, aka it's the end of the Elite's run. Then they'll go away and then eventually rise from the ashes. But for me, this is more so step 2 of the Elite's downfall, to where they eventually go away. They have this hole, and then they rise from the ashes, whether it's to save AEW from the Death Riders or not. I don't know. But for me, this is more step 2 and the downfall of the Elite, which would be Jack Perry losing the TNT Championship, with step 3 being Okada losing the Continental Championship at a pay-per-view called World's End, aka the end of the Elite's run, for now. So for me, it's more so about that. But also, like Bill said, Daniel Garcia just signed a new contract. Like, maybe they promised him that enticed him to stay. That's something there as well. So I have Daniel Garcia winning the there's too many titles. Winning the TNT Championship. Sorry.
There's so many. That's really good, Ella. Really, really good assessment. In the chat, I like Perry's transformation as well. The whole "they used to dance for me" line was cold.
Mm-hmm. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on here. Let's talk about Swerve Strickland. We had the little decoy today attack. I think that was Rocket from here in the Northeast. I think that was him. And Bobby Lashley. This is happening. Lashley looks strong in his match. Who did he take on? It was
Joe Keys and Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. Thank you.
How is Cheeseburger not under contract?
I know. I think that all the time.
AEW,
we popped big when we saw Cheeseburger. I'm sorry. I'm super tired. But yeah, love Cheeseburger, doing great things here in the Northeast. Man, so good to see him. And he took a beating. Both of them took a beating. Lashley looking strong. This Hurt Syndicate storyline's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. The card thing I really like, it's really cool. We talked about it a little bit with the Acclaimed. Can Bobby Lashley lose here, Bill?
No, it just started. I don't see him losing. This is gonna be a long-term story with Swerve and the Hurt Syndicate, who Warren, I don't know if I heard on one of your shows or so one of your tweets says, like, I did not think this was a good move to bring them in originally. I'm like, what are we doing? And they have come in and they have hit like peak what they were doing as the Hurt Business. Because I remember when they were like, when Retribution, when Vince was like, let's make Antifa a heel group. Oh, and but it did give us T-Bar, which brought up T-Bar Mania, which is
Tabar.
But I one of my favorite parts of that whole Thunderdome era was the Hurt Business coming out to stop them. It was like when the Horsemen would come out to be a babyface, and you're like, holy shit, the bad guys have come to do good. So I feel like that's where they are right now, and I think Swerve's gonna get a whole army to go after them. And this is going to be a long-term fight before I think eventually Swerve goes to be one of the guys to take on the Death Riders. I think, we're going to look at the 4 horsemen of what AEW is, who's that to be? That could be Swerve, Hangman, Samoa Joe, and Will Ospreay. I mean, fuck, okay, never mind. I'm just going to think about that match now. Yeah, I think Bobby Lashley is going to win this one. Not clean, but he's going to win this one. And I think it's going to surprise people how good this match is going to be, because I think Bobby Lashley has a lot to. I think he's going to want to prove a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a solid match. Ella,
same as Bill. This is Bobby's pay-per-view debut in ring, only his second match in AEW. You want them to look strong, especially with a name like the Hurt Syndicate, where MVP said they're there to make money, take championships, and inflict pain. What bigger statement can you make? Maybe the second biggest statement than by taking out a former AEW world champion. The only really bigger thing you could do would be to take out Jon Moxley, but that doesn't really align right now because they're heel on heel. So there's not many bigger statements you can make than taking out Swerve Strickland. Whether it's clean or not, I don't know. But you want Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate to look strong, so why not start off with a big pay-per-view victory?
Yeah, I think it's Bobby Lashley all around. In the chat, I got offered free tickets to Full Gear. Still, oh well, that's negative. Still won't go. AEW has become all right. So not your cup of tea. All right, well, that's your opinion. Warren, do you think Bobby Lashley wins here?
Oh, absolutely. I think we're all in agreement on this one. And I will even go as far as to say that he wins clean as a sheet. Bobby Lashley is not the type of guy who needs a swing of the cane to the groin or whatever. No, he's gonna come in and he's gonna beat Swerve. Swerve posted on social media. By the way, this is the second match I'm really excited for.
It's gonna be really good.
He posted on social media some x-rays of his shoulder saying, Hurt Business beatings hurt or something like that. But Hurt Syndicate, what? Okay, I'm stammering, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that might actually be something that comes into play. He comes in, he's already a little banged up from those beatings. He's and the thing is he's not going to be able to overcome. Bobby Lashley has to come in as besides, he looks like a big deal. He presents himself like a big deal. He's huge. Like, his aura is huge. And you saw it in the ring tonight. It's like, this guy is enormous. It's fantastic. It would be the worst case of booking malpractice if they were like, no, we're going to have Swerve go over here, because Swerve's going to be fine. That's the thing. Like, Swerve is going to be absolutely 100% fine. Look at this. Like, I was concerned. Like Bill said on my podcast when they announced that they were bringing them in, I was like, man, a tired WWE act. What are we doing? Bobby Lashley, old. It's like, I was going down those things because I was like, I don't know what they're going to bring. But then MVP gets on the mic, and he has been just like stellar, not good, not great, stellar every single time he's been out there. I've eaten all the crow I can eat regarding my gut feeling about bringing the Hurt Syndicate in. It's been a tremendous addition to AEW, and this I think the underlying story here is how good this is for Swerve, nonetheless, because He just lost his championship, but still he is in a prime program. Like, and I think like this is like number 2, number 3 program in the company right now. Like, you could argue between Osprey and Fletcher and maybe these guys. Like, you know, we could juggle between the two. But this is a big time one. So Swerve doesn't feel like he doesn't feel like he's been demoted, like he has to go scum around on the mid card for a while. He's fucking Bobby Lashley, and everything's coming together, and it's tremendous. It's just been so good, and it's good for Swerve, and Lashley's going to win, and everyone's going to be fine, and everyone is going to be fine, and this feud will continue, of course.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Bowens joins. And
there
it's
it is.
Tremendous. There you go.
There it is. I wish I could give you guys points. I say this every show, like around the horn. I just want to give you guys points. You're also good.
He never says that when I say something. He's always. I wish I could give you guys points.
Not true.
I want points.
Bill would have 15 points right now. In the chat, Kelvin, Bobby has to win. This match will bang. I think we get a new member of the Syndicate this match. I think that's very fair to say. Tim Hardy in the chat. I like some of the talent, but AEW is missing something to me. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Love you guys, though, so I watch anything you go. Oh, so you're the one. You're the one. We appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Let's go to your guy, Bill. I'm going to throw it right back to you. Hangman Adam Page versus Jay White. Little role reversal here as well. What do you got?
I mean, I can't bet against Hangman like ever.
That mustache is glorious.
Yeah, I know. Thank God. You know, to him and Tom Selleck are not the same age. My mom's head would explode. She's like, "Who do I love more?" Probably Tom Selleck. Yeah, come on. It's the long hair, but I got to go with Hangman. I mean, listen, I love. Everyone loves the Switchblade, and I think he's come back. I think he's had a nice comeback. I thought the match they had at the last pay-per-view, I thought was fantastic. I love the finish to that match. I thought it was so good, but I think we're going to go Hangman here. I think we have a batshit crazy Hangman, and I think we're going to put Jay White in the Continental, and we're going to have him like last year go the distance. And you know what, Warren? I found that's the guy who's going to beat Jack Perry. Jay White is going to beat Jack Perry in Australia for the TNT title.
Okay, I can go with. I'll go with that.
Because we're going to stick with him as a baby face. We're going to have him look incredibly strong in the Continental. Sure. Loses to Okada, so we're going to let's run those two sons of bitches back from the Garden, and that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to go with Hangman, and whoever is next for Hangman, I honestly don't care. His stuff has been some of the best stuff at AEW. He needs to be on TV just all the time. He is the main character of AEW, and they just have to capitalize. And they have to. Well, they took him. He was gone for a long time, so I'm glad he's back. And follow him on Blue Sky. It's all about gardening, which is even better. Plants or leaves too, you assholes. One of the greatest Blood Ablaze Blue Skies ever.
Yeah.
Warren, do you share kind of Bill's like affinity for Hangman as well?
I don't
yes.
Really?
Who doesn't like the Hangman? Let's be honest. And he's Hangman can't have a bad match. Like this is like there's science behind this. Scientists have been studying this, and there's empirical evidence. Peer-reviewed papers have been written. There's science behind this, folks. Hangman and Page cannot have a bad match.
I'm the scientist, by the way.
There you go. And I peer-reviewed, and I'm the peer who reviewed. I think everyone was kind of like stunned at how good the Jay White Hangman Page match was that opened. What was the last one? Wrestle Dream. And everyone was like floored because it's just like sort of came out of nowhere. Didn't necessarily have like a tremendous build, and it's just like, wow, what a great match. Now everyone's like looking forward to this one. And I'm just excited at the idea of these two guys saying, okay, well, we got to push this one a little higher, because that's how they work. That's how both of these guys work. It's like, okay, well, we're fighting again. We're continuing our series. We got to go a little further. And I'm like, okay, can we have like, this will turn into a good old fashioned 2016 G1 match, and I'm I'm super for it. Look, Hangman's great. I'm shocked at myself that I'm enjoying a babyface Jay White, but that's how good Jay White is. He's able to make it work regardless. And he also sold out Madison Square Garden at one time. I don't know if you heard.
I was there.
There you go.
All right.
And Juice Robinson helps too.
Just a little bit. Wasn't there Enzo Amore there as well in the audience?
Let me tell you, there's two things at that show. There was two things at that show that died a horrible death. It was when they brought the beautiful people out to perform the allure. That was everyone was mad, but they were furious when Enzo and Cass came out to interrupt that match. Yes, you could tell from TV, even though it was an angle, a work shoot. Anyway, I think I'm going bold on this one. I think Jay White beats him again. You got to keep prodding the Hangman. You got to keep poking at him these days. You got to make him go a little crazy. I want more crazy, less garden Hangman, more burned houses down Hangman. That's what I want. I think they're one and the same. I think it's a method to the madness.
Oh wow.
Sure, okay. You burn down the houses. You use the land that has just been burned down to sow more seeds and grow. And okay,
full circle. There you go.
Yeah,
Ella, what do you got on this one?
I love Hangman. I can never not smile while talking about him. He's my favorite on AEW, much like you, Bill. So I love that. He's the sweetest man. He's a little pyromaniac. Like, what do you want from him? But he's the sweetest man, besides that.
It's like, what a sweetheart.
I know.
It's like you're like almost like his mom there for a second. My Adam
He's a
so
good
much. Boy. Just a little pyromaniac. It's fine.
Wow.
But if we're looking at it, over the last year, Jay White has 2 wins over Hangman. Hangman has 1 over Jay White. Time to even the score. It's also, I think, pretty rare that Hangman loses back-to-back pay-per-views. And I'm also just biased towards Hangman, so I'm always going to pick him. But it is rare he loses back-to-back pay-per-views, and it's time for him to even the score against Jay White. I think he's probably going to reveal that his leg is actually fine. Maybe this whole time he's been faking it. I don't know. But we're due for a Hangman pay-per-view win. We're due. He lost the last one. He's not losing 2 in a row.
I kind of like the Hangman fans' meltdowns on social media, though. When he loses, it's as like every time it's the end of the world. The Hangman, what are they doing? They're disrespecting. And Hangman is the guy where you're like, no, don't worry. If there's one guy in this company you should not worry about, it's Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm actually okay with whatever happens. Like, if he wins, great. If he loses, you're like, oh man, he's just gonna go fucking crazy. It's gonna be
I'm gonna
great.
cheer him regardless. He's the baby face to me in this. I'm gonna cheer him regardless, like no matter what. But
in the chat, real quick, Hangman is a day 0 guy. Yeah, for sure. Kristen Ashley in the chat. Rob is so nice. It's a work. It's a work.
No.
he's actually a jerk.
It's very exactly.
What a dick.
Is Ishii versus Jericho official?
No,
They're doing that on Wednesday.
Dynamite.
I loved him follow. I didn't love it when they all got in the ring and it was just like a big thing, but when he was following him, I thought that was great. For me personally, I just thought that was a lot of fun.
Listen, anytime we can get Tomohiro Ishii doing anything on TV, that's fine with me.
I really enjoyed that.
They should take the cameras and follow him to In-N-Out Burger. He loves going in and out.
Nice.
That's what they should do.
I've never had it.
I've had it for the first time this year, and I wept.
Yeah,
is it that good?
No, I had to go to California for it, but I definitely.
How would you rank it? Rank your top 5 right now.
Oh, it's In-N-Out 1 through 5, so it's all good.
Boo!
This burger made me cry, Warren.
Okay, all right.
It made me cry.
Good?
Okay.
Oh my god.
They don't have them near me, so I've never had it.
I'm in Jersey. They never have them. It's always the April Fool's joke. It's like In-N-Out Burger's coming to New York City, and then someone's like, haha, fuck you, it's not happening. We're like, only make $1 million. Okay.
What's great about the Midwest is the Culver's. I love Culver's. Culver's is good. I really enjoy Culver's.
All right, well,
especially and the you always like a good butter burger and the fried cheese curds. Like that was a revelation to me.
Yes.
Like And yet we're up where I live. Cheese curds are a thing, but never, ever, ever have we deep fried the cheese curds. First time I had that is like it's a spiritual moment that I had. I was like, holy shit, okay, this is tremendous. The Americans have figured it out.
One thing we got. Yep. Got it, man. Oh man. Man, now I want cheese curds. That sounds good.
So do I.
Oh, dude, so good. Are we to the main? I got the main right here.
No,
Yeah.
you forgot the reason Warren is here.
No.
I didn't forget, actually.
You're gonna talk about the opening card.
No, I don't know
I
what
didn't
you're
forget.
talking about.
Listen, that match was booked for all of us around the Jersey Shore who saw that dude's face plastered on Jimmy's Main Street Cheesesteak in Belmar, every like telephone pole down Route 71 from Spring Lake to Manasquan when he was wrestling John Beach Balls Mahoney for National Wrestling Superstars with a young Joey Janela opening the show. That's who this guy is booked for, because I think I know who booked him. And like, this is what that guy was. He was this guy at the Jersey Shore. His face was everywhere. Everyone knew the fucking American power child. No one watched him wrestle, but we had heard of this guy. And then all of a sudden, I see this goddamn TikTok guy, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the guy who was in every Jersey Mike's ever, because he just promoted, and that's who this match is for. It's for everyone in Jersey. And that's it. And this match is going to be
Not everyone.
fucking amazing. And by amazing, I mean it's going to be a gigantic piece of shit. But so many people are going to pop for the Rizzler, who's a 7-year-old kid.
I don't know what that is.
Huge.
Yeah, I think Ella put it, and I was like, "Thank you for putting this." No disrespect to anybody. I'm not with
No,
it.
it's going to be great. Warren, are you going to be bringing the boom during this match?
No, I'm going to be. Look.
Adam Cole's going to attack MJF. That's the boom.
That's the boom for me. Exactly.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch it because here's the thing. Like I at least have to give the guy a chance. He's a former pro wrestler. He's in phenomenal shape. Like let's all be completely real. Even before he started training for this, the guy's jacked. He looks great. He's wrestling with QT, and QT is going to put him over.
Oh yeah,
QT is going to guide him through this. He's going to be, it's going to be a nice, smooth ride down the river. And he's going to put him over big time, because that's what the people. And then the 7-year-old kid is going to have a pop. He's going to do the thing when he rubs his cheek like he's got.
I didn't even know he did that, but okay.
Look, my community has kept me up to date on the lore. I am fully aware of the amount of people, like, because there's AJ, right, the guy. Then there's Big Justice, that's his son. Then there's the Rizzler, who's the 7-year-old kid, like a neighbor's kid. Like, it's not his child. He sort of carries this child around with him, this 7-year-old child. And everyone was like, why wasn't the Rizzler on a Wednesday night? It's a school night. That's why the Rizzler wasn't there. And then they have the daughter. Her name is Alice or Allison or Alicia or whatever. And then they have Mama Justice, who's the mother, right? So they have this whole cast of characters that just stand around and do. That's all they fucking do. I do not understand why people like this stuff. There's
now you know what content you got to do, Warren.
There's no value. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, look at me. No self-respect. I'll go into this and this.
Oh boy.
Do the Macarena.
No, guys.
So bad.
This is why I wanted to bring it up.
It is. I don't understand why people like this. I don't understand why
he has a single too.
I do not get it.
He has a song.
All right.
It was on. My wife was flipping around on Sirius. It's on TikTok radio, and I heard it, and I was like, "Oh fuck!
What the hell is TikTok radio?"
Exactly what you think it is. It's songs.
What is TikTok radio?
It's songs that are popular on TikTok that are put on a radio station.
Oh my lord!
I am not informed on the. And
can I give a hot take on this match?
Please do.
I think we're going to get a cameo from the Big Show. I think Paul White's going to come out and help. I think that's Because why not? This is what he does. He comes out and helps silly
the
things.
Rizzler is going to do a 5-knuckle shuffle, and then they're going to call it. That's all I envision.
I don't even want to talk anymore. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Shout out to QT.
Should be in a
Jersey
fucking
Zone.
Museum.
While
the
we were
Rizzler is going to do a 5-knuckle shuffle. I am sweating. I'm laughing so much.
That's all I
don't know if it's tears or sweat. I don't know what's happening.
Wow. Whoa.
I've had a horrible fucking day. That was amazing.
Oh, good.
Thank you, LJ.
That's why we do this, man. Oh, man.
Oh.
Legit envision it. That's how.
No, you're going to heaven
AJ
for
gets
that.
the win.
You're going to heaven. God's like, you know what?
He takes a 5-knuckle shuffle from the Rizzler. Like,
you know what? You go. God's gonna be like, we're calling her up early. This is send her. That's good. She's great.
While we were talking about that match, the chat just was blowing up with things about Culver's is delicious. Culver's is the best. So there you go.
Well, now I have to try it. Now, if I'm ever in the Midwest,
seriously.
Culver's rules.
I'm going to take that challenge up.
Dude, anytime we have Warren on, the chat is just Warren love. Kelvin in the chat, Warren has become my favorite. He is my inner thoughts personified. Wow. What a
Check out Kelvin on the Socially Distanced podcast next week talking about Arcane season 2 finale.
Shameless promo, dude. Yes, absolutely.
Gotta do it.
Let's go to the main because we just talked about that match. And again, I'm not informed. No disrespect that I'm not informed enough, but QT, great wrestler. And
QT's gonna make chicken out of this stuff. What I don't
knuckle
even
sandwich. Exactly.
We're talking about it, right? We're talking about it. So this, Bill, I think you needed that. Orange Cassidy going up against Jon Moxley for that AEW World Championship. This is interesting to me because I was under the mindset of, hey, like Moxley isn't even carrying this title around anymore. Like, surely, Orange Cassidy's going to win here. He's going to win the title so we can actually just see the title. But also he's getting a little bit more fired up. Bill, I remember we talked about it in the past where, it's rare to see him get fired up, but it means a lot when he gets fired up. I think it was during that Statlander match where he was cheering him on. I think you were watching it with me, Bill, and he got really fired up, and it was cool, and it added a lot to that match, even though he was just on the outside. Here, I haven't actually been loving the promos, and even today when he got fired up, it wasn't as organic, I guess, as like the last time he got fired up. And again, we could be teasing something here with him. Again, just another one that I'm not fully connecting with. I don't got a full read on it. And this whole thing with Mox, it's super interesting. But like I always say with everything, like it has to come back to like, what's the like there needs to be a definitive reason. There needs to be a definitive answer to like what's going on, why this formed. Like, and I know there's all these metaphors and promos that he's cutting. And I like the group that he's with actually. But it's just like with the KO thing over on SmackDown. Like, what is the reason? Like, I always want everything to be full circle, and I need that reason. So maybe we get it here.
I'll answer that one for Kevin.
The KO
Owens.
Stuff is, I thought, was fairly obvious.
Yeah, Kevin Owens is the reason. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
And he also fucking hates Cody Rhodes because he's like, "Fuck you, Cody."
Because he hates Roman Reigns.
We're getting off track, but
because he hates Roman Reigns and that Cody teamed with Roman Reigns.
Okay,
that's why.
Okay, fair enough.
I can't wait for Kevin Owens to go to AEW. It's never going to happen, but I want it to happen so bad.
So for me, this one's not connecting as much. Like I thought for sure, Orange Cassidy's going to win here. Mox isn't even carrying the title around. There's been a lot of people saying like this is all going to harken back to a Shane McMahon. I know that's not what you want to hear, Bill, but I think that may or may not be happening. Something has to come from this whole story arc. I don't know if the title is going to change here. I was going to say Orange Cassidy. I want to be rooting for Orange Cassidy a little bit more in this one. The promos have been interesting. I'll leave it at that. Someone help me out here. Warren, what do you think about all this?
I have very complex thoughts, and they are long and numerous, but I'm going to try and keep them as brief as possible. The Moxley, the Death Riders angle is good, but I don't think they have the opponents yet that is putting the angle over. That's the issue. I understand why they're starting off with why they're starting the angle with Jon Moxley taking on Orange Cassidy. I understand why. Orange Cassidy is a day one guy. You can argue he's homegrown or whatever. You know, he was successful on the indies, but like this was a guy that he came in, he was a meme wrestler and eventually grew out of that to show everyone that no, like, yeah, he does the comedy bits, but he is a terrific pro wrestler. And I am not over exaggerating when I say that his all Atlantic title run was a legitimately legendary for the modern age. Anyway, a legendary title run. He was absolutely phenomenal and a workhorse. Now, the problem that we had with that when we got to the end of the title run is that he wasn't elevated. He wasn't brought into the tippy top stratosphere of top guys in AEW. When he lost to Moxley, I believe many folks were thinking he's losing up. It's okay that he dropped the title because he's probably going to be in line for the world championship. Like we're finally, like, the company's throwing their weight behind Orange Cassidy and they're going to make a star out of him. And he's always been over. He's always been like, he's never failed this company. He's always worked hard. He's always been there. He fucking loves what he does. Right. But what happened to Orange Cassidy after he lost to Jon Moxley? On the next Dynamite, he was back on the mid card eating Doritos with Hook. So you're like, okay, so what was the point of all of this? If Orange Cassidy, if we had an Orange Cassidy that had been elevated after winning Jon Moxley, I believe we would not be having this, or at least Rob, I don't know about the others here, but we wouldn't be having this feeling of, well, I'm not quite sure. And we'd be like, hell yeah, let's go. Because as it stands right now, no shot is Jon Moxley losing the title. And I think that's also weighing down on the match, because we all know that it's not going to happen. And Orange Cassidy is not a convincing top level challenger in the first place, right? You could have put, in another type of booking, you could have put Swerve Strickland there. And you would have probably argued, well, there's no way Jon Moxley is losing on his first defense, but it's Swerve Strickland. And then you're like, and that is actually a huge notch in the belt of Jon Moxley. Orange Cassidy, not really, and he's beat him before. So, I'm of the opinion that until Kenny Omega comes back and the Elite gets back together, we are going to struggle a little bit to get people to add some real drama to the Jon Moxley angle, because all the contenders right now, to go back to Bill's original point, are all mid-card stars, and that's who they're lining up. We were talking about Daniel Garcia. Well, he was in the mix of this for a while. Darby is probably going to be, maybe he'll be the challenger of the month for the next pay-per-view run, right? That's, again, wrestlers that people like, that I like. It's not that I don't like them, but I'm like, there's no way this is happening here. There's no way Darby is beating Jon Moxley, right? It's just like, so this is, it's an interesting match. It's a match we've seen before. It's two pros. It's going to be a good match. Don't get me wrong, but your main event doesn't have any real teeth to it, ultimately.
Yeah, really, really, really good stuff as always, Warren. As I compliment you, I get in the chat, don't encourage Warren. I know his ego out of control, this guy. No, really, really good stuff, Warren. And you kind of make it make sense to me a little bit. So I appreciate that. Ella, what do you got?
This to me is the easiest match to predict on the main card.
Okay.
Orange Cassidy is not winning. It is too soon for Jon Moxley to lose the AEW World Championship, especially if the idea is the Elite to come back, then the Elite first have to lose everything, which, like I said, Jack has to lose the TNT, Okada has to lose the Continental Championship. and all of that. So if you're getting to the Elite and Kenny, then absolutely they have to. Moxley's going to hold the title while you take care of the other loose ends, which are the other two losing their titles. I would love to see like an Adam Copeland come back and get involved in this. I thought if it wasn't the Elite and Kenny, it could have been maybe Adam Copeland and like FTR. I would say Eddie Kingston, but he's not supposed to be cleared till like April, but I feel like he would have fit so well as a challenger in this storyline. And him and John have gone head to head, butted heads a lot, but unfortunately I don't think he's going to be cleared in time.
Doesn't mean he can't show up though.
True.
Especially
I think it would make sense for him to be a part of this. It's just, is he healthy enough? So in the meantime, I mean, Darby can easily be, like Warren said, I think a contender. I think Adam Copeland could as well. He'd be a big pop that people would root for. And then eventually, but also how do you reunite Kenny with the Young Bucks? That's something you have to, that's not going to happen till after, Wrestle Dynasty, after Kenny faces Gabe Kidd and all of that. Moxley might be involved in Wrestle Dynasty too as well. So this Moxley's going to hold this title. You need to get past Japan first, is a lot of these stories. Like Mercedes, you need to get past Japan first before you even think about taking those titles off of them. So for that, yeah, it's too soon. But the storyline is just getting started. So
I figured it out. You figured it out,
Bill, because
Kelvin,
yeah.
Oh, Kelvin, you don't blaspheme in this house, my friend.
For our audio listeners, here comes the money. Here comes the money.
Yeah, Shane McMahon, I don't think has anything to do with this. It's the thing I thought about a long time ago when they first started this, and then I originally was like, what they're going to do is they're going to have Darby eventually win the belt, right?
And then Christian's going to cash
in, and that's where you go. I don't think that's where this happens. I think I said it earlier, and when Ella was talking about the Elite, I'm like, it's fucking Hangman. Hangman's the guy to end it all. He's the main character. He's the guy who has to beat Moxley because, let's face it, they have never had a bad match. That Texas Death match was incredible they had years ago. So what I like, so if Hangman's my number one, Orange Cassidy's my number two. He's not going to win this match. I know he's not going to win this match, but I love that he's the first guy to step up. And it's like, it's kind of a classic comic book or kind of like trope where it's like the plucky, we'll use that in words, like the fan favorite mid-card guy. He's the first guy to step up and he gets beat real bad. In fact, he's going to be left in a bloody mess. And AEW has cut back a lot on blood these days. Orange Cassidy is going to be Blood Orange Cassidy. I know it's fucking terrible, but whatever. It's like they're going to take him out. And eventually what's going to happen is Moxley's going to run through everybody. He'll run through. I don't be surprised if he runs through Kenny. He runs through Joe. He runs through all these people. And then Hangman's the guy that's going to beat him at the biggest, whatever their big show is going to be next year. It's going to be Hangman. And if they wanted to, they could do it at All In Texas because he's cowboy shit. I mean, he's from Virginia.
Does Christian have an expiration date on his cash-in?
Christian has an expiration date on nothing. It's like apparently not age because he looks the same as he did 20 years ago, but better hair. So yeah, I can also see Christian then cashing in the next night on Hangman, and Hangman's like, fuck, it's because it's just, he's always got to be frustrated. But I think this is gonna, I'm actually very excited for this match. I can't wait for these two to get together because I also watched Moxley at Forbidden Door, and that match with Naito was one of the worst live matches I've ever seen in my life. It was absolutely horrendous. It just was so bad. And I think Moxley is looking to just right a lot of wrongs in his in-ring career recently, and I think this is going to be a phenomenal match, and it's going to be high stakes. And Orange Cassidy, despite the fact we all know he's going to lose, he's going to do what he always does. He's going to make us believe in that match. Is like, fuck, he could actually pull this off. Wow. That Bryan Danielson comes back and blows my whole theory.
There it is.
Which he won't. He's not going to do that.
Beautifully said, though, Bill. I love that.
It's a golden voice.
Guys, it is. Guys, thank you so much for staying up late. Before we get out of here, you guys know the deal. We're all about that shameless self-promotion here on the BCP. Ella, tell us what you got going on.
You can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads at It's Ella J. Too much stuff now. That's my only complaint. But I will be in WrestleCade in Winston-Salem next weekend. So if you're there, I'll be doing a bunch of interviews. Also be going around, be at TNA. Please say hello. Other than that, got a lot of things coming up to finish out this year. It's crazy. It's going to be 2025. So stay tuned on social media for that stuff.
Keep killing it, Ella. You know, we appreciate you over here on the BCP. Thank you for everything, and thank you for making the time tonight. We appreciate it. Warren, one of my favorite shows to listen to, man, during the week. Tell everyone where they can listen, all the good stuff you got going on.
Well, it happens. It's called the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, first and foremost. You can find it on your favorite podcast application or on YouTube at Mr. Warren Hayes. I've been doing quite a bit of live streaming recently, doing a lot of slop content, but it's fun. What do you want from me?
There's a lot of
What does that mean?
Slop content.
Slop content. No, but we have some fun. We have some fun streams. We talk about the day's events. I pull up articles. I read them. It's good times. YouTube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes really is the best place to follow everything. Otherwise, you can follow me on the Blue Sky at MrWarrenHayes.social over there, which is also the link that will bring you to the YouTube channel. If you want, not social, show, MrWarrenHayes.show. Why did I say social? That's nonsense. MrWarrenHayes.show on Blue Sky, and that also takes you to the YouTube channel. And it's good times. Weekly podcast, AEW Dynamite reviews. I've started a thing called Cage Match Dumpster Dives, where I pull up a wrestler and we go take a look at their cage match, and we have a little fun reading the comments.
You should do Big Justice.
Something. Yeah, well, that he's been banned off of Cage Match. Did you know this?
I saw. Yeah.
I mean, all his matches are up there.
Well, his matches are there, but you can't rate him anymore because he had all of his fans go in and meme. Give him all 10 stars. So he was for a day, he was the number one pro wrestler in the history of professional wrestling over Misawa, over Omega, and so on and so forth. Right.
I hate it.
So it was terrific. But we do the Cage Match Dumpster Dives. I did one on Nikita Lyons recently, and she turns out she has a defense brigade of people who will not admit the real reasons why they like Nikita Lyons. It's tremendous.
Is it the nunchucks?
It is not the nunchucks. Good guess though, but it's not the nunchucks.
It's pretty impressive. I'm gonna say that.
I don't know. The nunchuck proficiency doesn't impress me.
I was a Michelangelo fan. All right.
I know. It's like it's 1993. I'm not watching the Karate Kid anymore, brother. It's like, whatever.
You're not watching her nunchucks.
And you're not watching the nunchucks. That is correct. Anyway, thank you for having me, Rob. It was a pleasure chatting with all three of you. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back hanging out with the BCP Plus folks. Thank you again.
Yeah, no, anytime, man. And if you want to hear nice things about Goldberg, always go over to Warren. Warren's one of my favorites. Real quick in the chat before we throw it to Bill. Fazio, see you soon, BCP, one of our great independent wrestling fans. Fazio, thank you for supporting everyone, man. I look forward to seeing you. Even though you're an Eagles fan, looking forward to seeing you. Bill, what do you got over at Pop Break?
Check us out every single day, thepopbreak.com. Like I said, LJ just debuted for us. Kurt Angle interview. Go check that out. We have tons of stuff on there every single day. Television, movies, comic books, pro wrestling, anime, music, all sorts of great stuff. We have tons of podcasts. I am the co-host of the Socially Distanced Podcast, which drops every single Thursday on your favorite streaming platforms. Recently, we've done episodes on Agatha All Along, The Penguin. We're going to do Arcane, 2 episodes on that, Creature Commandos, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and we're going to be covering the new year, becoming Monday Night Raw's move to Netflix, amongst every other major thing that's going to be happening. I'm also the Bill and the Bill versus the MCU podcast, which is a Marvel first watch for me and rewatch for many others. Go check that out on the Pop Break feed. We just did Daredevil season 3. It's a fucking amazing season of television. And then we do the TV Break podcast. I'm part of that, where it's our TV insider look at everything that's happened in World TV. Follow us on all forms of social media at The Pop Break, including Blue Sky. We've been there for over a year. Come join the party. And follow us on YouTube at popbreak.com, all spelt out because some douchebag took the pop break. And our good friend Kimmy Sokol, she'll be at the media scrum and she'll be recording a whole bunch of greatness. So go check that out. Go support her as well. She's awesome. And yeah, go check out all of that. And Rob, as always, thank you for having us all together. You've united so many people and we love you very much.
All the love. Appreciate you guys. And like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out.
Stay vicious.